Good evening. Oh my, look at you all ready to rock and roll tonight. My gracious. Hello, Kelly and Ash. Great to see you. Good evening, Tanya Atkins. Welcome, Kylie Russell. We've got a few new people with us this evening, and I'd like to very much welcome you all. And of course, all my beautiful audience that come and sit with me each evening. And okay, we're having a chat there. That's hello. Reese, Mum's driving home. Okay, well, you get there safely, Mum. Jean Hartman, good evening to you. Karen McAllister, hello. And Sally and Mark in the house. Cool. So good to have you in the house. I hope you've all had a wonderful start to your week. Gee, that light's bright. That light's bright. Where else would we be but in the light? So I had an awesome weekend. How about you? I know there's a couple of people missing at the moment, but we will. Oh my, that's a very long heading, isn't it? We will get underway with a couple of things. So if you were in early, which I'm figuring from the look of everything you were, there's a few things to share with you. So the Spirit Seekers Society, isn't that a funky, cool name? We're always seeking something. What is it? What is the Spirit Seekers Society? Well, I get asked a lot of questions about soul expansion, about transformation, manifestation, ghosts, spirits. And as some of you know, I'm often called to houses, building sites, cemeteries, hospital beds to assist spirit, soul that can't find their way or are lost, or people who, a person who is going through the process of transition from this life to the next and is too scared to go. My auntie was one of those people. The doctors just couldn't believe that she was defying everything that they said about her. She should have been gone. And even the treatments they were doing to her, they should have wiped her out entirely, and they just couldn't figure that she just wasn't leaving. But she was too scared to leave. And then at her funeral, I saw her sitting in the seat where we had the viewing. I go like that because I don't know about you, but viewings, I find them very hard. I find, to be honest, I find the loss of someone that we love difficult. Even though I can communicate with them, I can see them and all that sort of thing, it's still difficult. So to see her sitting there and watching everyone come in to say their last goodbyes or to stand and observe her, whatever they were doing, was really interesting. And she was actually still in transition because she just didn't know where she was going to be going. And my own nephew, Jack, I went into the darkness to pull him out of there one time when he attempted to leave this world. And that was a scary place to go. I have encountered many entities. Some might even call some of the other things demons. I've encountered all sorts of things over my lifetime of being a messenger of the divine. And all sorts of malevolent spirit. But going into that darkness, the abyss of darkness, was really different and was even scary for me. I couldn't wait to get out of there. Got out of there with Jack. So there's lots of things about this world. There's lots of things about the other worlds. And then there's lots of things about all the beings and the different life forces that come from different places in the universe. And who says that this is the only universe? I believe that we are part of a multiverse, that there are many universes. I'm aware of the Middle Earth people. I have communication with them, the elemental kingdom. You know, there are so many realms beyond this physical existence. So as you saw, the Spirit Seekers Society began because of the questions that I would have people wanting to know, and then people wanting to know how they could actually know more about their own soul. And those people light up my life. They really do. To be able to have genuine conversations with people who are really curious about their own soul, their own life, just lights me up no end. And trust me, I can see through the non-genuine, and I just won't entertain the conversation. I won't entertain people that aren't on the path of the light. So the Spirit Seekers Society came about through all the different things that I'm able to bring to you, to everyone who wants to embrace, embody, and know more about their soul, the spirit self, how it integrates with this physical world, what this physical world is all about. And there's so many facets to you. There's so many facets to this world. And then there are all the different facets of realms that integrate with this world, with this realm. You have to come back. That's why you have to come back for many lives, because can't get it all done in one, right? If you were going to read an encyclopedia set, how long do you reckon that would take you? So that's a little hint about beginning to scratch the surface of what this world and your soul and the realms and everything else are all about. So the Spirit Seekers Society, which did previously have the name the H.E.A.L community, came about to help people on that pathway. Now, how I describe it to you is it's like going to an expo or a show. Ever been to the Royal Perth show or the Royal Melbourne show, the Royal Brisbane show? You buy a ticket to get in the door, right? And then you walk around and you'll get tastings. You'll get freebies. Don't know if you get a free show bag anymore, but you'll get freebies and you get tastings. And then if you want to go into a special event within the show, you pay another ticket, a higher ticket price. If you wanted to come to an event with me and sit in the gold circle, then you would pay a VIP ticket to do that and to be with me in person. If you're going to have a consultant do your surgery, you will pay a different premium, right? So you have an entry fee into the Spirit Seekers Society, and within that there is so many free resources for you, so many things for you to be able to watch, listen to, read, to begin or assist you on your journey. And then within the society are different levels of pathways. So in the Diamond Soul Awareness group, which is one of the premium pathways, we did a session last Tuesday about how your feelings can create soul growth. And it was awesome, if I do say so myself. And I say it because of the responses from the ladies in there. And then in the general community, we have a monthly live teaching session with me. And we did a talk, and you get to see all of these sessions when you come into the society, because everyone likes to go back again. You know, when you read a book, you haven't really read it. Or you watch a movie, you haven't really watched all of it. You know what I mean, right? You go back and you read a book and you think, wow, I must have missed that last time. You watch a movie and you think, oh, I didn't see that. They must have slipped it in while I wasn't looking. And that's just because of what the brain does, the mind. So all of the videos, the live sessions, are uploaded in there so everyone can go back and watch again and take away new stuff they can use, new practices, or have an aha moment. Like, oh, wow, I missed that bit when we did the session last month. So we were talking about how to ask your guides, the angels, for help. And that was the topic for this month. So that's what the Spirit Seekers Society is about. And while I'm here, I want to show you, this is my website address that's ticking along under there. If you go there and you send an email, you will send an email to support@H.E.A.L with Gwenda. And that goes to my team, and one of them will help you with what it is you're looking for. And why is that? Because I am either running classes, creating my pathways, doing back of house work, or holding client sessions. So whilst I can be pretty mystical, magical, there's some things I prefer to leave to other people to be able to manage for me so that I can stay on track. What we're finding is people are sending us emails, but then when the girls go back, it's crickets. Now, I'm befuddled with that. You reach out for my help, or you reach out for a service or whatever, and the girls reply, and then you disappear. I'm saying you because there's a few of you here. What's that about? Well, I'll leave that with you to think about it. So hide that, leave that there. In asking to get ready for you tonight, and that brings me to the other point of my work, I would equate to a senior specialist. I'm not a general practitioner, so I don't have 24/7 access. I have emergency access, and I don't deal on the whimsical humanness. Like, I don't know if I should buy the pink car or the one with the big orange tiger on the back, Gwenda. Which one should I buy? That's not my work, and it's not my pay grade either. So, yes, there is an energy exchange to work with me that matches what I can bring to you, right? That's what I want to say on that. So getting ready for you this evening, because I do have to wander off and go out into the realms and see what's happening. This is what I got. See that? Look at that. Nothing. So when I was asking, what will we be talking about tonight? Nothing. And who is going to join me? Now, to that question, I am deeply humbled, deeply astounded, and I don't know, lost for words, because you have the presence who will come through me to speak to you tonight of Moses. You also have the presence of Archangel Uriel. Now, Archangel Uriel is often said to sit at the left hand of God. Even within the archangels, there is kind of a hierarchy, and Archangel Uriel is right up there. So to have his presence come into my room, into my energy field, was nothing short of deeply humbling, and reminds me of the nothingness of the humanness, while at the same time the everything of the humanness. This human experience is nothing more than an experience. However, within the experience is an absolute treasure of richness. Now, Archangel Uriel is the one who gave mankind the ability of alchemy. He is also said to be the one who brings intelligence. Sorry, makes me laugh a little bit. The intellectual insights. Because sometimes when I'm out and among the world, I wonder where that's gone. That's a private joke. So I will just remind myself to step back in here. Archangel Uriel is also the one who stands at what is called the gates of Eden. Now, how interesting to have Moses appear first. And I have had a few encounters with Moses. I, at one time, was doing what he called the burning bush meditations. And I've got to tell you, they were incredible. And Moses would channel them through. They were beautiful. He is an astounding presence. He is just the most beautiful, calming presence. Moses imbibes you with wisdom. So you have two powerful forces of wisdom with you tonight. Archangel Uriel is the archangel of the greatest wisdom. As I said, it is said that he is the left hand of God, stands at the left hand of God. His wisdom and alchemical abilities are second to none. Now, with them coming through, I extend my physical self to be their vehicle to speak to you. So they will come in and out as I sit with you tonight. And they will take residence to be able to use my physical self to speak to you, which is why I'm called a channel. I can both trance channel and awake channel. But when it is the presence of such divine, amazing beings, it is much easier for me to trance channel them. It's easier on my physical self. And it is clearer. To be the clear trance channel means there is no human element. My divine self is set out in the cosmos, and most often I go and sit with the Grand Council or I go and play with my dogs in spirit, while my physical self is being utilized to bring through the energy and the messages of those who come in to help you. Moses comes to offer you guidance on the way forward in each and every one of your lives. Moses is not only a very gentle and humbling soul, he is also one of God's greatest messengers. When he presents as a very, very wise looking old man. That is how he presents to me. His energy is nothing short of sublimely calm and calming. He speaks of the collective of those of you who would want to walk through the partings of the water. He speaks of once again being able to be the leading being. Last time I was written about as a living man. In this instance, in this history, I will be present as a being to all who wish to walk the path towards redemption, towards a soul expansion. You see, in my lifetime here, as a living man, it was early days of the human being, much more simple, in some ways, maybe you may think barbaric. However, life was much more simple than what you have now. This frequency of this world at this time would not allow for me to be in human form. However, I am able to come to people like this and others like her to be able to guide you and to move you to what will be called the new earth. There are some things for you to prepare for this journey, and it is a lifetime journey. You see, you have come to believe that for things to change, everything must look different. This is not so. For things to change, it is you first. It is within you to find your soul first. And that is when the world changes. Some of you we see have already begun this path. Some of you have been on this path for many years. And you yourself have seen the changes within yourself and the world around you. Some of you are new and still finding your way. I ask you to think of seeing the waters parted and seeing a clear path ahead of you, though you will be walking behind others. Maybe you will be fortunate to walk beside others who are that much further along that path than yourself. Something that presents very strongly in your world of now is an intense judgment. You see, when I was here as a human man, the judgment was very different to now. Judgment now is so easily given for anything. It is also so easily put upon yourself by yourself. One of the reasons this world has so much cloud over it now is because of the human error of judgment. Satisfying the soul has long been put aside to rather satisfy the call of others. satisfy one's place among others. Do you see? Very little now is a way of life where you remember my 10 commandments. Simple. Not so now. Very absent now, which brings the cloud of doubt, the cloud of difficulty to the human race at this time. For yourself, it is now time for you to begin to understand your own judgment within yourself against yourself. The parting of the waters has begun, and much is to change in all of your life. As you have been walking this pathway, you will find it less troublesome, less challenging, as you begin to look more into the simple ways with less judgment to nil judgment. It is a poor failing of the human race in current time to feel that things are and must be complicated, because you no longer believe if something is simple that it can be real or that it can last. We see you struggle and look for, this can't be all there is. This can't be right because it's too easy. It's too simple. My 10 commandments were simple, and for you, if you so wish to uptake them, they will change your life. Moses is a really interesting character, and he has, as I said, a phenomenal presence and a very beautiful, a very calming presence. If you find tonight or in the ensuing days that you start to have dreams about water, you start to see very large waves, or you even find that when you're perhaps washing up, driving by the ocean, having a shower, that the water seems to have a different feel, a different energy, or it seems to move differently, that is his presence reminding you to think about how you can shift your awareness and how you can shift yourself into an easier way of managing whatever it is that life has brought around you at this time. Moses looks like, once again, he is going to be a leading character. It's probably not the right word, a leading being for transition of the earth and transition of mankind. Now, I see in my mind's eye a lot of fire, but this is the fire of alchemy. It's there for the presence of Archangel Uriel. Archangel Uriel has a very different presence and is a power to be reckoned with. In fact, some people even ask if he is not Satan's brother or one of the same. It amazes me with the stuff that people come up with. Yes, it's good to have a curious mind, but really, if you want to put it that way, all of the angels are Satan's brother, because after all, he was one of them and decided to run amok. So, and got booted out for his trouble. Archangel Uriel has an incredible, intense energy, and he's huge. Now he is famed with a very important task. So why would he not be huge or have this amazing presence? I can feel him, his presence getting stronger here now, and it's almost like feeling a really big shield coming over in front of me as he presents more and more of himself. So his power is very much about wisdom. Now, you have got within your soul, you have got amazing wisdom. It is just a matter of knowing how to tap into that, how to align with it, and how to live to your wisdom, therefore live to your soul. Archangel Uriel's wisdom is quite different. It is a different level, a different resonancy to our soul wisdom. And he's just huge. His energy's arriving here momentarily. It's like he's just getting bigger and bigger. He also carries a huge sword. I can't imagine that the size of him that he is would have a little dagger, like a little paring knife. Wouldn't look very right, would it? So it's interesting to have him present, because Moses is also about wisdom, and Moses brings wisdom. Moses brings wisdom from having been a human being, a man, in a long time ago. And Archangel Uriel has the wisdom of God, essentially, has the wisdom of a whole different energy. Sorry, I'm really feeling him trying to come in here now. So, and you probably won't ask, it'll just begin. So hold on to your horses. So it is without doubt that Archangel Uriel, to have his presence here, so you're getting a double whammy of wisdom, different levels of wisdom. Alchemy being the ability to make things different, to turn silver into gold, or a rock into gold. Alchemy, changing things, transition them. It's so very appropriate that he would arrive tonight, given that the earth and mankind, or humanity, is going through a transition presently, and you're either on that bus or you're not. And there's no right or wrong about that, because everybody is on their own soul journey, right? And if you want to be caught up in the collective of the lower vibrations, or the less evolved, then that's your priority, or that's your prerogative. There's no right or wrong. It's what you choose. And aren't we lucky to have that choice? Archangel Uriel is also one who assists with souls as they're entering the different levels of heaven. Now, before I receive his messages for you, or have him come in to channel straight through, if that's what he's going to do, there are different levels of heaven, and there is an entry point. When somebody has been, like my auntie, particularly sick for a long time, and has fought against her own higher knowing, her soul, because of no belief, and no want to believe either, wouldn't even entertain the idea that there could be anything else, or that there could be more to her than this human suit that she could see in the mirror or, dressed every day. So for her, it's a long time of being in the entry area. I didn't even see her get into the what I call the hospital in heaven, which is the healing plane of heaven. So when a soul goes through that transition, it really is dependent on where they're at in their evolution, in their soul growth, in their soul alignment, as to where they're going to land. So Gary, my beloved, often tells me that I can't go without him and he won't go without me, and we'll go together. And I say, well, we might go together, but we won't be going to the same place. And he gets terribly upset. So I don't say too much about that anymore. I just go, okay, honey, whatever. Because there's, it's like you go left, you go right, you go straight ahead, you stay there. And there's all these different realms within heaven. I used to describe it being like a multi-level car park, because it's almost like there's different bays for everybody in the place. So to have Archangel Uriel present and wish to impart his wisdom and bring what he is calling, I'm listening to him now, his logic. And he says that there is a shortage of logic because so many have lost their way. He also wishes to acknowledge those of you who are here that have been on your any of you who have been on your journey and who are continuing to understand that there is so much more to you than what there appears to be on the outer. So on this physical presentation, it is nothing compared to what you really are. When it comes to using his Archangel Uriel's ability with alchemy, you can actually ask for him to assist you with being able to transmute. Now, that is not a word that he is really familiar with or even interested in, apparently. His wish is that you understand that nothing here in this world is fixed. Nothing. You can use alchemy through connection with Archangel Uriel to shift anything out of your way in your life. It will always be done as you call it. Did you hear that? It will always be done as you call it. Now, on a human level, I will interject here and say that means you must be very, very aware of your thoughts and then of your words, because your thoughts begin things to start moving. So your thoughts are like a fiery sword, he says. And so many of you wave it around recklessly with, he says, abandoned, reckless. And then that's just thought. And then when you have the speech on top of that, that is when the alchemy is seen in the physical. The thought is answered on a higher collective, and your thought affects so many beyond your knowing, like the pebble onto water. But your words are your action. So they are the action of your thought. And in that, he says, is where the fire is most dangerous. So to call upon him for alchemy of anything in your life that you wish to transition, that you want to transform, he asks you visit first your heart. You learn to use the guidance of your soul before putting anything into action. Now, on a human level, that means that you would have to get used to quietening the mind. Now, I've heard recently that there are some big names. Look at that. They're so big, they're not coming to mind. Big names who say that you cannot stop your thoughts. Well, I'm here to tell you that I have mastered being able to totally empty and have zero coming from my mind. And it is an amazing space to sit in. It is incredible. It's a nothingness, and yet it is an everythingness. What it is known as is the oneness. And it's in the oneness that you are aligned with the divine, and therefore with any of the divine messengers. But what's incredible in it is there is nothing in the mind. There's no rattle on, no yabbering going on from the mind. There is just nothing. And it's beautiful. And it takes patience, commitment, dedication to get there. So what Archangel Uriel is talking about is when there is something that you feel that you want to transform on the external world, you must first know how to be centered in your heart and to hear the guidance of your soul. For this is where your greatest wisdom for this lifetime comes into being for you. It is when you are in that place that you can access my wisdom of the highest and use my sword of flame to transmute that which you seek. When the wish to transition and transform something is coming from the mind, this is not in alignment with the highest good of yourself nor of humanity. It is an art to be able to come into the centeredness of your heart and into the oneness of nothingness. And when there are still so many of the objections of this world, this realm, that hold you captive, it keeps you from being able to be in that oneness and into that space of divine nothingness in the mind. To call upon the wisdom and the alchemical powers of Archangel Uriel, he says, requires you to be in alignment with divineness and in alignment with the highest level of your own divinity. He shows me that his sword diminishes in its flame when it is called upon for reasons that are of lesser than the divine and the divinity within. And this is where you create challenges. This is where it can be found that life becomes a struggle. And it feels to you as if you are forever in battle, he says. It feels as if you are forever swaying a sword that is making no difference. for your life to transition and for you to transform, it is required of you to understand how you hold your own sword of divinity. I give thanks to both Archangel Uriel and also to Moses for their presence here this evening. And I hope that you have been able to take away some insights or felt their message somewhere deep within you. And then it is up to you to sit in a space where you can reach into that part of you deep within you that will bring forward the richness of what sat there, because it will be different for each of you. I'll just read your messages here. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Hi, Joy Cook. Sally, you're having some difficulty with the screen. Anybody else having difficulty with the transmission tonight? All okay, Sally. Okay, and Tanya's over east, so that's interesting, Sally. Mm. No, you're very welcome. Sally, did you manage to get through? I know you left. You're there. I'm not sure now. Tanya, thank you. Kelly, thank you. Much appreciated. It's always very interesting having messengers of such caliber, and I say that because of who both of those beings are. Interesting to see what it is they come through with. And Uriel, predominantly, I've only ever had come through when I've been doing guidance for someone. And it's generally been around the passing of a loved one that he's come through to bring guidance for the person seeking the help. So to have him appear this evening and Moses and both being about wisdom is very interesting. So, walking the path of a soul-led life is something that is a choice. It is something that is an incredible journey, and it's one that you have to be very gracious with yourself, and you have to learn a lot of tolerance for your own shortcomings. Because as I was hearing Moses say about judgment, when you have a look at how you talk about yourself, like if you say, oh, I'm an idiot today, or, I'm a half-wit today. None of those words are allowed anymore, are they? But people still condemn themselves, judge themselves, right? I'm so forgetful. I'm so clumsy. I'm an airhead. Anything at all that's derogatory is therefore disturbing to the soul, and the soul has got no idea. You're actually creating a tremendous contraction on the soul. Being in this physical vehicle is contraction enough for the soul without it being further contracted by the way that we think or the way that we talk. And I will be quite transparent with you and say, I used to be an extremely fiery person, and I would stand my ground and fight my way. I had a big sword. I used to I used to wield around the place, and I wouldn't take nonsense from anyone. I would be very, very defensive and very fiery. And it's taken years of this path of learning and my own journey of becoming more and more and more deeply aligned with my own divinity. And it is an amazing journey. Letting go of the humanness, to me, is the fun part, because it's the humanness that creates attachment and brings in judgment and just focuses on the shortcomings, So working with the soul and taking people down that path, or being able to mentor them, guide them, is my heart's desire, and it really lights me up. The other thing that lights me up is when I have the privilege, and it is a deep privilege, to be able to assist a soul or a spirit that has been caught here, that, like I was saying about my auntie, she wouldn't accept any help from me though, because she didn't believe. But I had a very interesting experience on Friday with the soul of a lady who showed me what it was like for her from the time she was 9 years of age, with being able to hear voices. And then the kind of lifestyle that she chose to try and avoid those voices, which didn't work at all. And she ended up living a very, a life of torture, really, in many ways. So much so that she did not wish to be recognized by her name, the name that this physical body carried when she was in this world. She wanted nothing to do with it, because to her, that name amounted only to pain, horrendous pain and struggle from being a little girl. Very sad, really, very sad. And the thing is, it's unnecessary. We don't have to live that way. We don't have to live that way at all. It is a matter of finding someone who understands and who knows how to guide you to your soul, to your guides, so that you can feel the expression of your own soul, instead of being corrupted by spirit, corrupted by malevolent spirit, troublesome spirit, and then others who are living in this world but have attachments of all sorts to them. Yes, attachments are real. There is often a place of attachment on people who are very disjointed from their soul, who have used different ways to abuse their physical self and mental self. And that was something else that Uriel spoke about when I was preparing, but I didn't hear him say anything about it when he came through. And he was asking about all this sense of separation, and he was actually very perplexed by it. So why we label that we have a mental self, emotional self, a physical self, a soul self, when in fact we are one whole being. This world of duality and polarization creates, and distraction, creates false ideas and tends to take you apart as if you're a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. It's not true. So the problem with that is, this is where the mind can get really out of hand, because you start to call yourself different parts. Like, I'm going to give myself a mental health day today. Oh, well, cooey to you. That's really, it's not helpful to the soul. Oh, my emotional body must be all over the place. The moon's out. The moon's this, the moon's that. That's not helpful to the soul. I've had a bad accident, and me and my foot, we just don't get along anymore. Not helpful. Not helpful to the physical self, to the healing, not helpful to the soul. when we have had some kind of trauma, be it a road accident, work injury, some kind of injury, even heartbreak, because heartbreak is injury, right? It's painful. Loss of someone, loss of a pet, loss of a loved one. These times are opportunities to let the soul be, so that you can have all of your facets actually united, rather than breaking pieces of yourself away and saying, oh, well, yeah, that's my mental health over there. I've got to do something about that. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what is coming through here? When we can look at ourselves as whole, and we can look at ourselves as divinely perfect in our whole being, because we are, then we have the power, thanks Tanya, we have the power to be able to grow and to draw on that incredible healing power and wisdom that we hold within. So when you begin to align to your divinity, your wisdom within, you can then align with someone like Moses, call in the wisdom of Archangel Uriel. But his little description of, calling him in when we have not been able to harness the power of our thought, and then putting that thought into action through words, that is diabolical and will not have the outcome that we would hope for. So you have, Kim Jane, did you only just come in, love? Good evening to you. And you're one as well, I understand, that one of my team have answered you and we haven't heard back from you. So when you leave tonight, begin by making a promise to yourself and start to look at yourself as whole, rather than separating pieces of yourself and labeling it. You're not a label. You are an incredibly powerful being. You've just been duped into thinking you're not, and you've been duped into believing that you have all these different parts of you. Imagine if you just harnessed yourself through divine light all the way through and right down to the earth. And so every part of you was just gleaming like a magnificent diamond or a beautiful piece of lapis. What would that be like? The unity within you would be exemplary. The unity within you would have so much power that you would be able to find solutions to things just like that. And you would find that everything around you changes. I love playing with alchemy and using it to create. So I just did say I used to be very fiery. Well, even now, if I'm out somewhere and there are children, unruly children because they've got unruly parents, I will use my abilities of alchemy to move them on. My kids used to know when I was doing it, and they would say, Mum, just leave them. I'd say, no, I'm not out here to listen to unruly kids because they have unruly parents. I'm not interested. I'm still like that. I can't bear it. And if there is someone who is mistreating a pet, a dog, and they're within my earshot or my view, then I will send transformational energy with my fiery sword over to sort them out. Yes, Kim Jane, if you registered, which the fact you're here says that you registered, yes, the replays are there. It does tell you that on the info, I believe. So you can, and one of my ladies told me that you get it on email. Okay. So begin tonight by really thinking about how you can go into that empty space in that greater part, that greater, I want to say part because it makes you think it's separate, in that aspect that is little used in this human form, and have great fun with that. Oh, cool, Karen. And you're another one. We still haven't heard back from you, the girls told me. So, anywho, thank you all very much for being here tonight. It is time for us to say goodnight. And I do hope that there have been some terrific little gems for you and something for you to take away. And again, to our lovely new people that joined us, and to Kelly and Ash, thank you all very much. God bless, and have a beautiful self-discovery time tonight. And don't forget the Soul Mastery. Look at that. The Soul Mastery Collective begins in September. You can read all about it on the website. It is powerful stuff, incredible life-changing stuff. 10 weeks of intensity. So what more could you ask for? Right. Good night, everyone. Have an awesome evening. Take good care. Oh, you're very welcome, Kylie and Jean, Tanya. Beautiful. Thank you all very much. Good night now.